Thanks for the support as a channel member, Gregcellent. You've done what? You've got us some extra... How have you got us extra transfer budget? This video is sponsored. Who is it sponsored by? Yeah, no, I'll check my email. I'll do the sponsor thing. We're definitely getting more transfer money off the back of this. You wouldn't just be getting me to do an ad read to line your own pockets, surely. Okay. Poison Curls, as per Mrs Wearmouth's instructions, this episode of Homegrown is sponsored by Skillshare. If you don't already know, Skillshare is an online learning community for creative and curious people where you can learn new skills, explore passion projects, or just get lost in creativity. They've got classes on all sorts of things ranging from lifestyle, productivity stuff, creative writing, fine art, photography, video, entrepreneurship. There's definitely going to be something on here that you're going to want to check out. And Mrs Wearmouth has pushed me into checking out this course from Michael Chernow, Entrepreneurship Hustle from Business Plan to Real Success. She suggested it might be a good idea for me to explore other options if things don't work out for me in my current job. Thanks, Mrs Wearmouth. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, which means there's no ads. They're adding new content all the time, and what's more, it's less than $10 a month if you go with an annual subscription. And the first 1,000 people to sign up for Skillshare using the link down in the description below get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. So what have you got to lose, really? So there you go, boys and girls. Do what Mrs Wearmouth would do. Click the link at the top of the description. It supports the channel and you get a trial of something really cool as well. If you've noticed the improvements to the video quality, sound, editing, lighting, all that kind of stuff, that all came off the back of things that I learned on Skillshare. So I can really personally recommend it as well, in addition to all the stuff Mrs Wearmouth is making me say. And I really appreciate every single one of you who clicks on that link, because it does really help to support the channel. Now we're going to go and see if she's actually following up on this promise of more transfer money off the back of the sponsorship. Hello and welcome to part 15 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special as we proceed towards season 3 and tier 6. I'm not sure if we're going to end up in the Conference North or South. We've been in the Southern Premier League. Last two times we've done a home save on Twitch and on YouTube, we've been in the Conference North both times. So we might be about to switch it up and head north. But let's get the season review done first, which starts off with our review of our signings. And Micah Beerith gets signing of the season, which after 37 goals in 44 starts, you can't really argue with that at all, can you? He came in on a free transfer from Fulham and he's been all right. He's one to watch for years to come. And there have actually been some other new signings that have happened since the last episode, because we've hoovered up some Premier League youngsters that have been released. We'll meet them properly in a minute, but I think everyone from Reece Bennett downwards. So Reece Bennett from Manchester United, Sammy Bari from Stoke, Eddie Beach from Southampton, Shay Charles from Manchester City, Thierry Small from Everton, Josh McNamara from Manchester City, Mauro Bandera from Arsenal, Marcus Eiffel from Brighton. They've all come in on free transfers, which I thought were going to come in on July the 1st, the way they normally do. But I guess we're at such a low level, they've just come in straight away. They're all on non-contracts and they just signed immediately and appeared in the team immediately as soon as the transfers went through, which was a bit of an odd one. I wasn't really planning on using any of them yet. But they're the signings of the year. The season itself, we were expected to win the league. We did win the league. We're not coming close to maxing out our attendance at home with the capacity 636. Our average attendance was 129. I do suspect we're going to have to ground share for the coming season, because I don't think 636 is a big enough capacity to go into the Conference North and South. I am prepared to be proven wrong by the game, but certainly based on previous experiences with home saves, I think that's what is due to happen. The question will be whether or not we also announce the building of a new stadium at the same time, or whether they hold off a little bit to try and build us something that might be a little bit more useful and suitable in our rise up the leagues. Because 2 years ago here on YouTube, we ended up winning the Champions League whilst ground sharing with MK Dons, which wasn't quite what we had in mind. So fingers crossed we don't go down that route again. Moments to remember, some big wins. I mean, we did kind of steamroller that division just a little bit, which I'm not against in these early seasons. The last thing you want to do in a save like this is get bogged down in the non-league for 5 years, because I assure you there's going to be plenty of getting stuck and it being hard when we're in League One, Championship, Premier League, when we're not allowed to bring players in over 18. So as I've said all along, the goal is to race up the leagues as quickly as possible so that we get to a level where we can afford a good youth system before we've stopped having a good youth system. And we've already seen with the youth intake that came in on the last episode that because of the downgrading of the youth setup after the first season, the quality of players that came through in season 2 was well below what came through in season 1. So we do need to accumulate some money and fast so we can carry on investing in our youth setup, or we are going to be 100% relying on free transfer. Well, not necessarily free transfers, but under 18 transfers that we bring in. And at this level, we can get away with, like, you can bring in half a dozen Premier League youngsters and it probably improves your squad. When you're in League One, not so much. So again, we've really got to be focusing in on that youth setup. The further up we get, the only way we're going to be successful with this football club is through our own youth setup. Certainly until we get to top half of the Premier League status, where we can just start blowing £10 million on 18-year-olds or 16-year-olds and sticking them in the youth setup for 3 years and then playing them and thinking more long-term. But at the moment, the focus has got to be on that youth setup. So our team of the year was Wright in goal, back forward Bachelorette, Pitetta, Mir, Davis and Agungbo, who of course is leaving this summer. Slam Dunk, Cisse, Davey and Whittaker in midfield. Interestingly, no spot in there for Kieran Hodgkinson. We were playing him out of position all year. And a front two of Pritchard and Beerith. Maybe this is the year we start playing Hodgkinson up front where he's supposed to play. Club awards wise, Slam Dunk wins Fans Player of the Year and has signed a contract extension. Harrison Davis, Young Player of the Year, and he's also signed a new contract extension that I'll show you in a second. Signing of the season is Beerith, which I can, like I say, get when he scored as many goals as he did. Goal of the season went to Cisse. Top scorer in the league was Henry Barton with 23 goals, although he did lose his place as the season went on. So he's still averaging roughly a goal a game in his home career, but he's not our first choice striker anymore. The world's gone mad. Slam Dunk most assists on 15 and most man of the matches and highest average ratings. Slam Dunk's quite good. And we didn't win any of the competition awards though. And new club records that have been broken. Oliver Wright set the new most clean sheets in a season record. Beerith, most man of the matches. As speculated on in one of the earlier episodes, Bachelorette Pitetta is now the club all-time appearance holder with 70 appearances over the course of these first 2 years, despite him being a player we all said needed replacing back in episodes 1 and 2. Henry Barton's our all-time top scorer with 59 goals, and he also set the record this year for fastest goal scoring inside 54 seconds. So we have won promotion. We have won a Southern League double, and this is where we find ourselves now. We've been given a big pile of cash, £25,000 for finishing top of the table. This is our all-time best 11, which is pretty much going to be the team we've just looked at. Kalala is the only one who's left and is now not in the all-time best 11. How's Kalala been getting on? I mean, he's good, isn't he? He's very good. I don't think he counts as homegrown, so we can't actually bring him back. Some people have said, if players leave, can you bring them back? We can if they're homegrown at club, but because Kalala was already 29, he is officially dead to us permanently. He's gone, never to be forgotten, but also never to return. Whereas if someone like Harrison Davis, as an example, if he were to leave, and because he's homegrown at club, there you go, homegrown at club, we could bring him back in his 30s, even if he leaves next season. Because he's homegrown at club, he'll always be an option as someone that we can bring home. But there's your confirmation of his new contract. He's on a 4-year contract. We got him 2 years with a 2-year extension, which we cashed in immediately. I still suspect he's going to get sold out from under me. I've been getting reports on Twitter and in the comments section from people who have been playing along with the save that Mrs Wearmouth does get a little bit silly and selly. And if we were to get an offer of like £5,000 for him, she'd probably accept it. So there's not a lot we can do to stop that from happening if it does happen. So although he's got that long contract, brace yourself for the departure of Harrison Davis as soon as somebody shows an interest in him. I'm hoping the longer contract makes it less likely, but we shall see. Season review, obviously, it was a good season. We know all this stuff is going to be good. The club vision for the coming year, still required to develop players using the club's youth system. We're still looking to do attacking, direct, counter-attacking football that makes the most of set pieces. We can manage all that. We've got to work within our budget, which we do. And Mrs Wearmouth is expecting us to just charge up through the leagues. I mean, not much in the way of expectation then, Mrs Wearmouth. You want us to win the National League North and South this year, then get promoted to League 2 within 3 years and be in the League 2 playoffs within 5 years. I mean, to be fair, it's probably the rough shape the save was going to take anyway. I like to overperform and get there. She's getting a little bit too big for her boots, I think. We might need to have a rough season so she just calms the expectations down a little bit. Our 2 team leaders are Dunk and Barton, no influential or highly influential players at the club, which I guess is an indication of just how young they all are. And this is our best 11, according to Mark Wearmouth right now. Of course, Agungbo's going to be leaving. A new goalkeeper, Eddie Beach, is apparently the best goalkeeper at the club. And new midfielder, Mauro Bandera, is apparently the best, well, one of the best central midfielders at the club now. End of season break. They've got about a month off, 6 weeks off, which is all good. And I mean, this is the state of the squad. Normally at this point, we identify where we're looking to strengthen. And I guess we can still have a little bit of a look if we put this to maybe 2-star players. You can see that some of these guys who've already come in are going to make a difference. Eiffel in there. We've got Beach who's come in there. We've got Bennett is in there somewhere. Yeah, we've got a few of these new players who've arrived, but we're obviously limited to signing players who are 18 years old or under. So the plan now is to just jump forward to the 1st of July. We'll obviously stop along the way if we get any news about players being sold or any news on the ground. But with no transfer money and an inability to do loans, all we can really do is wait until all the young players are released and try and have our pick of what is out there. And immediately we get confirmation of a couple of the things that I was just talking about. So we are moving to Steel Park, which I think is Corby. Yeah, Corby. We're moving to Steel Park, Corby, for the coming season, which has a capacity of 3,893. So it can't be a long-term solution because that I don't think is big enough for the Football League. But it will do for now. Worryingly, I don't know, is it worrying? I guess it might actually be good for the future. No mention of us trying to build a new ground of our own yet, which is interesting. But the other thing I was worried about is our facilities have been downgraded again. This time it's our training facilities that have gone down. We don't have the money to reinvest and try and improve them. So we're just going to have to accept that they're moving down. Right, what's going on here? The board wish to hold a meeting regarding improving our youth level. Mrs Wearmouth. Yes, please. That's the opposite of what I was expecting to happen. Our youth level has been increased back up to Category 2. So Category 2 is where it was previously. It was downgraded to Category 3 last summer. We've now put it back up to Category 2, which is going to make it more expensive to run. So we're going to need to keep an eye on the club overall balance. We have got Mrs Wearmouth in as a background underwriter, but so far, for 2 years at the club, she's not actually invested a penny. If we have a look at investments, you can see there's not been a single penny of investment come into the club yet. I know there are a few people speculating that these grants that we've been getting, Mrs Wearmouth siphoning money into the club. They're definitely not. I think they are youth grants based on our youth academy, but they're not coming from Mrs Wearmouth. But Mrs Wearmouth does have the option to invest. She just hasn't yet, but I think we're probably going to need her to at some point in the next year or two, because we are on a downward trajectory money-wise, and now we've got to pay rent to a ground that's not ours. We're probably going to need to bump these training facilities up again in the future. But you can see immediately we've gone back up to exceptional academy coaching, exceptional youth recruitment, great youth facilities. This is all good stuff, and which should hopefully improve the quality of the youth intake again next year, so we get something better than just a pretty good goalkeeper, which is all we got last year. Can we ask for a new ground? I mean, I'm in two minds as to whether it's a good idea or not. When we did the YouTube save a few years ago, it completely backfired getting a ground at this stage. But on Twitch last year, we got a new ground roughly now, and then another new ground when we hit the Premier League. We were able to get 2. So I don't know how it's coded into FM21. I'm going to ask and see what she says, because I would like to play at our own home. Corby, although it's relatively nearby, isn't the same as being able to walk down to a ground in the village that you live in, is it? Well, there we go. I'm pleased to announce the plans are afoot to build the club a new stadium. It's anticipated the plans will be finalised. So the plans will be finalised by next summer. A capacity of 3,000 is expected, which obviously won't be enough for us to even get to the Football League. So we may have jumped the gun a little bit on this, because if they're finalising the plans next summer, I mean, if we follow Mrs Wearmouth's plan, this next year we win the National League North. So by the time the plans are finalised, we're in the National League. Then we'll start building a 3,000 capacity ground. If we were to get promoted again, we could get to the point where we're ready to move into the new ground, which finishes the following year, just as we hit a point where it's too small and we can't move into it. So that'll be interesting if it happens. Well, of all the ridiculous things, Fulham have made an offer of £450 plus future incentives for Kieran Hodgkinson. Chairman Mrs Wearmouth feels this offer was too good to refuse and has taken matters into her own hands by accepting the transfer offer. It's £450. For context, our wage budget's £6,000 a week. Let's just have a look. What's our highest salary? Slam Dunk's earning £400 a week. Oliver Wright's earning £400 a week. So for what, I mean, I reckon I could go to Slam Dunk and say, Slam Dunk, do you reckon I could just not pay you for a week? Just 1 week off your wages? Because then we don't need to sell Kieran Hodgkinson. It'd be like, yeah, Kieran Hodgkinson is a really good young player. I obviously don't want to sell him. I'll give up my wages for 1 week to give Mrs Wearmouth this magical amount of money. I'm going to protest. I think the board should reconsider. Yeah, because it's a stupidly low amount of money. He's a really good prospect. I'm positive we would gain more by keeping him here rather than being sold. I feel the team would be weakened by his loss. I'm going to try that one. Sorry, but the board's position on this is non-negotiable. Feel free to spend any remaining funds on new players to replace Kieran Hodgkinson. We're going to fall out, Mrs Wearmouth. To make matters worse as well, there's an ask to renegotiate transfer button down here that's not working. I don't know if that's supposed to work or if it was like a multiple choice and the button shouldn't be there anymore. I can't even renegotiate it. Can I come in here and cancel it? Oh, this is hideous. Hopefully he doesn't agree too quickly, but obviously he is. He's just going to run away immediately. Why wouldn't he? Can we come in here and cancel it now? Hideous. Utterly hideous. Well, utterly powerless to stop it. Kieran Hodgkinson has gone to Fulham for £450. I mean, they're paying him a lot of money. Why wouldn't he go? Fair play to him. Does leave us in a bit of a pickle. Can we loan him back? No. Well. We have signed a couple more players. I'm probably not going to show you every single one of them as they come in, because a lot of them are just going to come. We're bringing them in to put them in the bottom of the system and let them float up to the top if they're good enough. So we're not signing all of these to come straight into the first team. Ben Jackson is an example of that. Ademola Ola Adebomi, another example of that. These players aren't good enough to play now. They might get good enough, and I think we'll just kind of meet them as we're filling in the bottom of the youth system, and as they hit the first team, that's when we'll meet them properly. If we sign anyone like really, really special who's coming straight into the first team, I'll obviously show you those. But the ones who are just filling up the youth team, similar to what I do in the other saves. If I sign 10 youth players, I don't show you them. Who's Adrian Williams? 15 years old. Cool, look at that stubble for a 15-year-old. What a special boy. No, I don't let players leave on trial. They want to sign him. Well, then they're definitely not having him. He might be good. He's only 15. It's a little too soon for me to decide I don't want to keep him. Let him stay here for a few years. Stop taking all my young players. Right, why am I getting to make a decision on this one? Why do we sell Kieran Hodgkinson for 450 quid, but Oliver Wright we get offered £6,000 for, and I'm allowed to reject it? We've got that £400 now. We don't need another £6,000. Oh, she's put £275,000 into the club. So again, Mrs Wearmouth, my counter argument is you didn't need 400 quid. Got a new kit sponsor as well. Sponsors left, right, and centre today, isn't it? Goodness me. Yeah. I'm just gonna be grumpy for the rest of the episode now. I don't understand why Hodgkinson had to go, but we can keep Wright. Yeah, the offer for Wright was what, 13 times the amount? Very grumpy. Well, here we go again. Looks like we're losing Terrell Whitaker now. At least it's a slightly more reasonable fee. £18,750 again with a 40% sell on. Rather than protesting this time, I'm going to try and renegotiate. I accept you have to consider selling Terrell Whitaker, but I think we can get more for him. Let's try that. I think you might be right. We can get more for this. I don't know. Does that mean I'm doing it or are they doing it? Why is it offering me the option to resign now? What's happening? So I still can't touch it. Apparently that's been negotiated. It hasn't changed. Was it 18 before? It was. So it's not changed. Now I have the option to resign and that's it. Well, I guess. Do we care about Allinson leaving? I don't think we do. He can go. But it looks like Whitaker's going as well. I feel like this upcoming season might not be as straightforward as I hoped it would be. And we're in the Conference North, by the way. And as it stands at the moment, we are favourites to get promoted again. We got a huge reputation boost this summer. We've had 2 big reputation boosts now. I think the really good youth setup that we've got boosts the club reputation quickly. Because there's a starting reputation. I mean, you can get the database from episode 1. The starting reputation isn't massively OP. It was kind of vaguely average to the league. Is what it was supposed to be. I'm sure that's what it was. But I think the youth setup really accelerates the increase of the club reputation, which helps with attracting players, but does mean there's some unrealistic expectations because we've already lost one of the best midfielders. We're about to lose another. And I imagine we're going to lose several more of these over the course of this summer. It looks like this is going to be the theme of this summer, losing our star men. And we are continuing to try and top things up again at the other end. I don't think we'd signed Matty Vigor before, but he's another striker. Don't read too much into the star ratings. All the star ratings are being ruined by Harrison Davis and the fact that the game considers him to be a championship quality player. So although this guy's only showing his 3-star potential, if you go into it, apparently he's already operating at a good enough level for this league and can improve a lot in the future. So star ratings are kind of broken for us by the several good players that we've got, like Davis, and it's basically Davis and Slam Dunk are ruining it for everybody else. But none of the players we've brought in so far I would expect to be starting in the team next year. Possibly, in fact, Bandera probably will. I guess we'll have to now if Whitaker leaves. But there's nobody else. Maybe Beach in goal. But yeah, we're basically selling our best players and signing reserves. A recipe for success. Right, we've made it through to the 1st of July, so a bunch of stuff has gone on. Most notably, we've released 12 players. I guess the only one who was anywhere near the first team is Will Tizard. But with the couple of youngsters that we brought in towards the end of last season, Bennett and Charles, notably, we didn't really need him. I guess if we sell Davis now, we probably will need him. And then there's a couple of the fringe players, youth players who didn't really make the grade. Quite a few players have been released. Prince Chadwick is gone, boys and girls. Very sad to see him go. But that's sorted. Terrell Whitaker's got a 1-year contract extension. Trigger extension. See if that wrecks the sale. I don't know if it will. The price did get renegotiated. It's gone back up to 20. Well, gone back up. It has now gone up to 22,000. Where is it? Oh, by triggering his extension, I cancelled the deal. Sneaky old Kev. Now offer him a new deal with another contract extension on. Is this naughty? I feel like this is naughty, but I'm comfortable with it. You know, there's balancing realism with battling the game, and the fact that we've got an owner who's just invested nearly £300,000. We're going places, and we're accepting tiny transfer fees. I feel like I'm within my rights to fiddle with some of the other stuff and just try and rascal my way around the system. So that can be on there as an insurance policy. If only we'd have known that with Hodgkinson. Although, to be fair, Hodgkinson was in the process of agreeing a new deal. But that does make me think we shouldn't be enacting the extensions immediately. We save them as a get out of jail free card, which means we need to negotiate a new deal with Davis. Because foolishly, I did his extension immediately, which is problematic. Who's Alex Bentley? Don't really care if you take him. I'm not accepting transfers. There's a Gungbo leaving. This is the under 19s, whatever they're up to. Port Vale have offered me, they're not having Van der Laan for £275. York now in for Bachelor Ekpateta, which we're going to decline. Has he got a contract extension? No, let's offer him a new deal then. Let's be rascals. It's all about playing the rascal game. Add clause, optional 1 year. Make sure he signs that. Yeah, you can have a bit more money to do it. We don't want these boys leaving. Henry Barton, I'm inclined to let go because we're paying him £230 a week. He's our fourth choice striker. We've just signed a couple of new decent strikers. The only thing is he's been scoring goals consistently, but at lower levels. It gets him off the wage bill. I think there'll always be offers for him. I think we can reject that for now. I feel a little bit unclean doing that. Right, can we do the same with Davis? Is he going to discuss a new contract? Ooh. Now, it's almost... He's willing to do a 5-year contract just straight up. This boy might actually stay with us forever. And then if we put the optional 1-year extension, get the yearly wage rise out of there. I'm looking for where this goes wrong. I don't see where it goes wrong. Right, we want to do the same thing with Slam Dunk then. No, we can't get Slam Dunk on one. Who else is wanted by clubs? Pritchard. See Pritchard leaving a bit. Beerif and Pritchard. I think the problem is both of these have just signed new contracts. We might... Beerif, we can get in on a new contract. We're just making sure we get these 1-year extensions on for everybody. I don't mind giving them the extra money because we've got so much wage budget that we're not going to use because everyone we're bringing in is on a non-contract and like £80 per appearance. I'm willing to spend the budget we've got now to keep these boys around for a little longer so that at least when they do force for a move in a year or two's time, we'll get a fee for them. I don't want to be Hodgkinsoned again, which is how we're going to refer to that. There's no one else I'm that bothered about losing. They're the big ones, really. These guys down here, I think we can replace. It's those top tier players that we need to... Oh, why am I... It's the 1st of July. Kev, what are you doing? We need to go and get some trials in. We'll go and get some trials in. Well, after all that fuss, I'd probably be happy for Whittaker. Learn his name, Kev. That's why he wants to leave. We're happy for him to go now because we've just signed a much better winger. Mamadi Camara, 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. Portuguese under 20 international, previously of Reading. He's come in. He can play on the right wing or the left wing. And we've got a couple more youngsters who've come in, which we'll just welcome them in. But we're not going to dwell too much on the youngsters who aren't likely to play anytime soon. But I think this guy, Micah Hamilton, I think he is another one who's probably going to be in the first team mix relatively soon, probably in central midfield. He's not likely to displace Slam Dunk on the left wing, but he's got 3-star current ability as well. If we see how he compares to our central midfielders, yeah, with Hodgkinson having left, he's up there with Bandera as one of the best at the club in central midfield, previously of Manchester City. So decent calibre for him as well. And then that's just another youngster. We have had a little look at bringing Kieran Hodgkinson back on loan, but unfortunately, Fulham would prefer Kieran Hodgkinson to play with higher quality players. Well, balls to you, Fulham. Balls to you. It looks like my master plan is going to be foiled. I mean, we've got a couple of the guys to sign a new contract. Beerith has signed one. Davis has signed one. So we've got our little get out of jail once free card on both of those. But Blackpool are back in for Bachelor Ekpiteta before we've been able to sort his contract out, which is not ideal. And it looks like he's going to be going to Blackpool. I don't think we can stop it from happening unless he decides to sign the contract we've offered him as opposed to the one they've offered him, which is always a possibility. But I'm going to be very sorry to see him go. He's our all-time record appearance holder. It was only, there you go, Whittaker's signed a new contract with a new get-out-of-jail free card on. Beautiful. But it was only the last episode where I was talking about Bachelor Ekpiteta as a, you know, a player who'd still be with us in the Championship and he'll be our captain, and looks like it's going to be the end of the line for Tom Bachelor Ekpiteta. They all come home eventually, so it won't be the last we see of him. But it looks like he's going to be the second major first-team player of the summer to depart us, unless he signs that new contract now. But the chances of him signing a contract with us rather than the contract with them, I would suggest close to zero. Sorry, Mark. Transfer list slam dunk. You wanted by Bristol Rovers. You know what? I'll just let his contract run down. The transfer fees we're getting, we'll just let his contract run down. I'm not selling him. Certainly not transfer listing the star of the first two seasons. This football club, if I wasn't here, they would combust. I'm now seeing why in all the trials that I did, they got promoted in the first season and relegated in the second. Because the club loses its mind if I'm not here to look after it. No, you're not having any of my I'm not selling anyone. I'll let Mrs Wearmouth sell him out from under me, but I'm not voluntarily selling anybody. He's gone. I'm very sad. He's earning good money there, though, bless him. Don't know if we'll be able to loan him back. Higher quality players again. Thank you, Tom. Well, we've just about exhausted the lists of under 18s that we had available to us. This is what the squad looks like. It's the 10th of July. My birthday, incidentally, 10th of July 2022. It's my 40th birthday. Oh, that sends horrible shivers in awful places. And this is what the first team squad looks like. As you can see, a gaping void at left back that does need dealing with. We have nothing. We need a left back. Otherwise, someone is going to have to learn to play there and fast. I think we have got left backs in the youth setup somewhere. If we have a look in the under 18s, I'm sure there's bound to be a left back in here. If we sort this by position, Adrian Williams, you might be doing the Bachelor Ekpiteta. You got the same face. You might be doing the Bachelor Ekpiteta promotion system and just going in because there's nobody else. We've just pulled him out of the under 18s 2 years ago. Let's just check the under 23s as well. There you go. Thierry Small is going to be our new left back. Thierry, welcome to the first team squad. You're our new left back. Have we got anyone else? No. Oh, hold on. Adrian Leck. No, he's 1 star. He can. There's a couple. Eli Campbell as well. Is he one of the new ones who's just come in? He is. Is he a left back? He's a centre back, really. There you go. We'll put Thierry Small up into the first team just to give us someone there. And we've got plenty of centre backs. Some would say too many centre backs. So we could probably pick 1 or 2 of these to maybe train to play out at left back if need be. Right back, we've got adequate cover as well. And again, most positions we've got half decent players. Whittaker, slam dunk, 2 outstanding players out wide for us. Beerith, Pritchard, both signed new deals. Whittaker and Barton up there as well. We've got lots of players down in the under 23s who've come in this year who we can bring up as and when we need to as players leave. But I think it's a decent squad. It's just going to be interesting to see how many of them now stick around. Money-wise, we're all good. And we've now got a long wait because it's one of these custom databases to get Holme in there. The start dates haven't changed back to normal. So we're not actually starting to play in the league until October. So we've got like a 2-month wait now. I'm not going to drag you through the whole 2 months day by day. As and when something significant happens, I'll jump back in and show you it. But really, that's going to be real first team quality player appears. Or somebody leaves. There's offers in for Slam Dunk. Not interested. Absolutely not interested. I mean, if he asks to leave, we'll show him the respect and let him go. But otherwise, we'll just keep turning down deals until Mrs Wearmouth accepts one. That's the... Oh, Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk. Please don't go. We've lost so many of our boys this summer. The finances weren't right. Let's suggest an asking price. 20,000. There you go. If we get 20 grand for Slam Dunk, he'll go. And why wouldn't anyone pay 20 grand for him? He is brilliant. And we do have Camera and Hamilton who've come in this summer who could slot into the team in his place. So it won't be the end of the world if he goes. It will just be the end of an era if he goes. Our left-hand side is being dragged out of the club. And it's much sadness. Well, we've made it through the rest of the summer and autumn relatively unscathed. If you are worried we're always going to have this October start, worry not. It just seems to be a glitch with non-league. Once you get into the Football League, it looks like everything goes back to normal. So I guess it's just because the non-league has been added to. The non-league didn't quite tweak back to where it was supposed to. And there has been a little bit more transfer business, not very much at all, really. And we signed a couple more youngsters who aren't likely to play. But this guy is our new left back. Jeremy Rodriguez is a Spanish, I guess, current under 20 international left back. 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. He was at Southampton previously, and he's come straight in to go into our squad. Interestingly as well, Sami Bari has already left. We signed him earlier in the summer, and he left and has gone to play for Red Star FC in France. So that can happen. Apparently, never got the opportunity to play a game for us, which is an interesting one. Shall we see how our boys are getting on at their bigger clubs? Bachelor Ekpiteta has made his championship debut, which is, I mean, it's an absolute madness, isn't it? And where is... who else did we sell? Oh, of course, Kieran Hodgkinson. How's he getting on at Fulham? He's just in the under-23s for Fulham, so he's not got anywhere. Slam Dunk is still here, but he's got a little bit of a grumpy on because he does want to leave. So we'll monitor Slam Dunk. We might actually have to sell him, but at the moment, Mrs Wearmouth's not accepting offers for him. So unless I'm forced into it by her or he really puts a sulk on, because he is a team leader, so that could be problematic. But at the moment, I don't feel the need to sell. I guess we're not likely to be able to sell him until Christmas now, because although we're not in a transfer window, the types of club who can pay to actually sign him and bring him into the Football League are. So he's not likely to leave now until January. So we're just going to have to make do, even if he's in a grumpy. But I think this is pretty much going to be our team. What we might have is, I mean, we've got Beerith and Camera are both injured at the moment. Camera's likely to be on the right. Beerith's likely to be in up front, and then Roberts, Barton and Whittaker are going to be competing for backup spots in all those different positions. Bandera might well end up playing in centre mid at the moment. We're going with Davey and Hamilton, and we might bring in some of the new guys at the back, but at the moment it's only Rodriguez replacing Bachelorette Pitetta, and the rest of the back five are what we were using last year by and large. So I would call that a summer where we've been relatively unscathed. There's money in the bank. We're well within our budgets for everything. The media still have very unrealistic expectations for what we're going to do this season. Absolute madness. I think we can just assume that whole thing is broken. But they are looking at a number of our players, considering them to be pretty good. So we managed to keep hold of Davis, which is a positive. And what you might notice by the expiry dates of contracts is I made a bit of a boo-boo. And I forget who it was. It'll be one of the guys who's on a non-contract. It might have been, hold on, if we sort it by ability, I'll know exactly who it was. I was trying to offer a contract to Rodriguez. I think it is a permanent one. But because he'd only just signed, he didn't want to. So I right-clicked on him and did Director of Football contract renewal to see if the Director of Football could have a go. but I had the whole of the squad highlighted. So every single player got offered a new contract, and all those players we offered the contract extension 1 year thing to, they all got triggered. It was all, we've given all those pay rises for nothing. But I still think we've ended up with a pretty decent squad, which, like I say, should at least stay together until Christmas. And we'll then see how we survive that next transfer window. If you have enjoyed that video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.